नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text number 8. Naham tata admi yajamana havihi vitane. Naham tadhadmi yajamana havir vitane. Socyat grita pulutam adan hutabuk mukena. Socyat grita pulutam adan hutabun mukena. Yat brahmanasya mukataha charataha anugasam. Yad brahmanasya mukatas charato anugasam. Tushtasya mayi avahitaihi nijakarma pakaihi. Tushtasya mayi avahite nijakarma pakaihi. Naham tadadmi yajamana havirvitane. Socyad grata pratam adan hutabun mukena. Yad brahmanasya mukatas charato anugasam. Tustasya mayi avahiter nijakarma pakai. Naham tadadmi yajamana havirvitane. Socyad grutaplatam adan hutabun mukena. Yad brahmanasya mukatas charato anugasam. Tustasya mayi avahiter nijakarma pakai. Na, not. Aham, I. Tata, on the other hand. Admi, I eat. Yajamana, by the sacrificer. Havihi, the oblations. Vitane, in the sacrificial fire. Shotyat, pouring. Krita, ghee. Plutam, mixed. Adan, eating. Hutabuk, the sacrificial fire. Mukena, by the mouth. Yat, as. Brahmanasya, of the Brahmana. mukataha, from the mouth, charataha, acting, anugasam, morsels, tushtasya, satisfied, mai, to me, avahitaihi, offered, nija, own, karma, activities, pakaihi, by the results. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths. With the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasāda. Please repeat the translation. I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths. With the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasāda. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The devotee of the Lord or the Vaishnava does not take anything without offering it to the Lord. Since a Vaishnava dedicates all the results of his activities to the Lord, he does not taste anything eatable which is not first offered to him. The Lord also relishes giving to the Vaishnava's mouth all eatables offered to him. It is clear from this verse that the Lord eats through the sacrificial fire and the Brahmanas' mouth. So many articles like grains, ghee, etc. are offered in the sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord. The Lord accepts sacrificial offerings from the Brahmanas and the devotees. And elsewhere it is stated that whatever is given for the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to eat is also accepted by the Lord. But here it is said that he accepts offering to the mouths of the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas with even greater relish. The best example of this is found in the life of Advaita Prabhu in his dealings with Haridas Thakura. Even though Haridasa was born of a Mohammedan family, Advaita Prabhu offered him the first dish of prasāda after the performance of a sacred fire ceremony. Haridas Thakur informed him that he was born of a Mohammedan family and asked why Advaita Prabhu was offering the first dish to a Mohammedan instead of an elevated Brahmana. Out of his humbleness, Haridas Thakur condemned himself a Mohammedan, but Advaita Prabhu, being an experienced devotee, accepted him as a real Brahmana. Advaita Prabhu asserted that by offering the first dish to Haridas Thakura, he was getting the result of feeding 100,000 Brahmanas. The conclusion is that if one can feed a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, it is better than performing hundreds of thousands of sacrifices. In this age, therefore, it is recommended that Hare Nama, chanting the holy name of God and pleasing the Vaishnavas are the only means to elevate oneself to spiritual life. Doesn't see Bhaktivedanta purport. Amajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here Lord is continuing the glorification of the Brahmanas. So Lord is saying to perspective here how he eats. The two ways how Lord eats is explained in this verse. Naham tadadni yajamana havir vitaner. Yajamana havihi. Yajamana, one who is performing sacrifice. Havihi, in the sacrificial fire, he offers oblations. Naham tadadmi. I do not relish the way in which when a fire sacrifice, if things are offered. Shochad grutapitam adan hutabun mukena. Through the fire, sacrificial fire, the food items are offered and I accept that. But it is not that relishable. Why? Yad brāhmanasya mukata charato anugasa. So better than that is offering food through the mouth of the Brahmanas. I relish that more. Because Tushtasya mai avahiter nijakarma pakai. These devotees, they are tushtasya, they are satisfied with me. And nijakarma pakai, they offered all their activities, results of all their activities unto me. Means they are completely dedicated personalities. Ekanta bhaktasya, that category of devotees, what Krishna is referring to, not just by birth Brahmanas. So the qualification of that Brahmana through whom Lord relishes is should be tushtasya nijakarma pakaihi. He should have offered all his results unto the Lord, and he is ever satisfied with the Lord's prasāda. The criteria has been set. So, I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire. Naham tada admi yajamana havir vitane, which is one of my own mouths, hutabun mukena. With the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, socha ghritaplatam, which is overflowing with ghee. Ghrita means ghee. Pluta means it is enriched with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas. Yad Brahmanasya mukata sharato anugasa. Who have dedicated to me the results of their activities. Avahiter nijakarma pakai. And who are ever satisfied with my prasāda. Tushtasya mai. So in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, a Vaishnava dedicates all the results of his activities to the Lord, and he does not taste anything eatable which is not first offered to the Lord. By default, the devotees accept only what is offered to the Lord. The Lord also relishes giving to the Vaishnava's mouth all eatables offered to him. So whatever is offered to the Lord also, Lord shares with the devotees. Like whatever is offered, we get back as prasāda. And Guru becomes very satisfied when all the devotees eat that prasāda. In the Guru Ashtakam, 4th shloka, what is that? Chaturvida Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swadanna Truptan Haribhakta Sangha. Swadu Anna, relishable food. Haribhakta Sangha, in the devotion, in the association of the devotees when we eat, the Guru becomes very pleased. When Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased. So it is clear from this verse that Lord eats through the sacrificial fire and the Brahmana's mouth. There are two ways in which Lord accepts the food, by offering into the fire and by eating through the Brahmana's mouth. The conclusion is that if one can feed a Brahmana or Vaishnava, it is better than performing hundreds and thousands of sacrifices. And Prabhupada gave example also of Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was performing the Shraddha ceremony for his parents. After the offering was made to the deity, the first prasada was offered to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, no, I am not qualified to receive this prasada. There are many well qualified Brahmanas here. If you offer it to me, your name will be lost. Others will ostracize you. They may discard you in the society. But Advaita Acharya said, you are much better than all these combined people and all. By offering food to you, I am offering like from 10,000s of Brahmanas, that you are that qualified. You are Bhagavatottama. So, in that context, Advaita Acharya Prabhu was setting an example for all of us. Why it is important to feed Vaishnavas. So, chanting the holy name of God and pleasing the Vaishnavas are the only means to elevate oneself in spiritual life. So, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. These are the two main things for advancement in spiritual life. The same context we see in Krishna book when we read that pastime where Krishna had approached Krishna and Krishna's friends were there one day in a forest. They became exhausted. They were looking for some food. And nearby there was a sacrifice going on. All the Brahmanas were offering sacrifices and all. So the friends of Krishna requested, we are very hungry, feed us something. Then Krishna instructed, Lord Balarama has come to the boys, go to the sacrificial fire, and there are many Brahmanas there, and inform the Brahmanas, Lord Balarama has come, along with his younger brother Krishna, So he is asking for some food, they are hungry, please give some food. What happened? The boys went there, represented about Lord Balarama, and they requested for some food to be offered to the Lord. Did the Brahmanas offer the food? Why? Do you think they are not in knowledge? They don't know Lord Balarama? They are in knowledge. They know Balarama, but they know only this fact: Lord eats only by fire and through the mouths of the Brahmanas. They don't know that Lord will personally eat. That is their problem. Because they have read in the Shastras, Lord eats through fire and Lord eats through the mouths of Brahmanas. They don't know beyond that there is Lord personally can eat. They were in confusion. Because what we have read and what we are trying to practice is something different. In that confusion, the boys came back thinking that they said no. Then they came back, and again this time, they came back again. Krishna instructed the boys, now you go to the wives of the Brahmanas. You say Krishna has come now. Earlier he said Balarama. Now Krishna has come, he is feeling hungry, give him something to eat. Now the boys went to the wives. They actually, and like food preparations and are all done by Matajis. So they were all great devotees. They went there, and the boys went there and requested, Krishna has come and he is hungry, give him some prasāda. They did not bother whether items are meant for yajna or nothing. Everything they packed up, they went and they served Krishna. Because sometimes what happens, so this knowledge about the Lord restricts in our understanding and in our relationship with the Lord. The Brahmanas were fully in knowledge. But that knowledge, whatever they have learned, is restricting them in their service to the Lord. But the wives of Brahmanas, they were simple. They knew Lord offering, that's it. Either you put in fire Brahmana's mouth or directly Lord. It is the Lord they wanted directly. They wanted to feed through the Lord. And as soon as they heard Krishna, they all became like in a motherly affection. They came to the Lord to offer him, to render him service. So the perspective is how to understand the instructions practically. When we have to put them into day-to-day usage. That's where the importance of understanding the scriptures is very necessary. So what Bhagavatam says about this perspective in elsewhere in various places. Asnati anantaha kalu tattva kovidaihi shraddhahutam yanmuka ijja namabihi navaitata chetanaya bahiskrute hutasane paramahamsa paryaguhu. So here Lord is saying, Asnati anantaha kalu tattva kovidaihi. The Supreme Lord Ananta eats. How? Shraddhahutam yanmuka ija namabihi. Through the sacrificial fire offered in the names of different demigods. So in the sacrifice, food is offered and it is received by the Lord on behalf of various demigods also. Because first the mantra goes with the Lord offering, then other demigods were also invited as prasāda was offered to them. Navaitata chetanaya bahiskrute hutasane. He does not take much pleasure in eating through fire. Paramahamsa paragaha. As he does offerings accepted through the mouths of learned sages and devotees. For he then does not leave the association of devotees. Because Lord is very much in association of the devotees. He does not want to leave them. So he accepts the food offerings through the mouths of these devotees. And further he says, so why these devotees? What is their qualification? Yad Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam Shraddha Tapo Mangala Mauna Samyamaihi Samadhina Bibarti Harta Drushtye Yatredam Adrusha Iva Avabhasate. The qualifications of these devotees are Yad Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam. In a Brahmanical culture, a Brahmana's transcendental position is eternally maintained. So they maintain their qualification. How? Because Shraddhaha with faith, Tapaha austerity, Mangala, auspicious activities. Mauna means meditation, sense control, you can say restricted senses usage. Samyamaihi, samadhina, in meditation. Samyamaha, full control of senses. In this way, they, injunctions of the Shastras, they study and they practice with faith. And Bibharti Harta Drushtaye, this is the real goal of life is illuminated when you study with faith. And Yatredam Adrusha Iva Avabhasate, as one's face is fully reflected in a clear mirror. So what happens when you read in faith and consciousness and with all the regulative principles, then the knowledge becomes revealed. And as transparent it becomes. Means you are able to understand them in proper perspective. You will be able to implement them with clarity. And these are the devotees who have studied the Shastras in proper perspective. That's why they support the Vedas, it is said. These devotees, they support the Vedas. They maintain the Vedic culture by holding on to their portion. So through them, the Lord accepts the offering. Then further he says, Yat pujaya kamadugan yati lokan gruhanvitaha Brahmano agnischa vai Vishno sarvadeva atmano mukam. Yat pujaya, by worshipping fire and the Brahmanas, Gruhanvita kamadugan yati lokan. Gruhanvitan, a person staying in the household life. Kamadugan, he fulfills all his desires by worshipping the Brahmanas and the fire. Yati lokan, after that he goes to the higher planetary systems. Then, Brahmano agnischa vai Vishnu mukam. The Lord accepts Vishnu or mukam. The Lord accepts the food. Brahmano agnischa, through the mouth of the Brahmanas and through the fire. These are the mouth of the Supreme Lord. Brahmanas and the fire are the Vishnu mukam, are the mouth of the Lord, who is Sarvadeva Atmanaha, who is the super soul of all Devatas also, all the demigods also. Jai Shri Radha Govinda ki. So the context here, what do we understand? The Brahmanas, different parts of the body, different living entities emanated from the body of the Lord. Brahmanas, where did they come from? The head part. Kshatriyas, from the arms. Vaishyas, from the belly. Shudras, from the legs. So the Brahmanas emanated from the mouth of the Lord, they represent the mouth of the Lord. So when a Brahmana is offered prasāda, it is like the Supreme Lord relishes through the mouths of the Brahmana. This is one more a point. Then, Purusheshu api Rajendra Supratram Brahmanam Viduhu Tapasa Vidyaya Tushtya Datte Vedam Harestanu. So Narada Muni was explaining to Yudhishthira Maharaj about this qualification of these Brahmanas. Who are those Brahmanas? What is their speciality? O Rajendra, O best of the kings, Purusheshu api, of all persons, Supatram Brahmana Vidhu, a qualified Brahmana must be accepted as the best. Supatram Brahmana Vidhu, the best of the Brahmana, qualified Brahmana is Tapasa Vidyaya Tushtaya. Within this world, because such a Brahmana, by practicing tapasa, by austerity, Vidyaya, by Vedic studies, and Tushtaya, by satisfaction, Datte Vedam Harestanum, he becomes the counterpart body of the Supreme Lord. Understood what that perspective is? He becomes like the body of the Supreme Lord in this material world. The Brahmanas, they are like the Supreme Lord moving in the form of humans because of their pure devotion. Nanu asya brahmano rajan Krishnasya jagadatmanaha punantaha padarajasya trilokyam daivatim mahat. And Krishna is saying in one more place, O Rajan, my dear King Yudhishthira, Nanuvasya Brahmanaha, the Brahmanas especially, They are engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the world. They are recognized and worshipped. They are all Mahat. They are all Mahatmanaha. And Jagadatmanaha. And they are worshipped by the Supreme Lord Hari, who is there in the heart of all living entities. They are so great, Lord Hari worships these Brahmanas. So that's why Punantaha Trilokam Padarajasya. They purify the entire world, three lokas, with the dust of their lotus feet. And they are worshipable even by Krishna, Daivatam. That's why you see the context. Whenever Narada Muni comes, Lord is setting an example. He used to sit in a asana, and Krishna used to wash his feet and sprinkle that water upon his head. When Sudama came, Krishna did the same thing. That's why Krishna also says, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Gho Brahmana Hitayasha. He is for the maintenance and protection of these two categories, cows and the Brahmanas. So Krishna is very much towards the Brahmanas. And who are these Brahmanas? They are all pure devotees of the Lord. Then in the 11th canto, Uddhava Gita also, Krishna says about this glorification of the Brahmanas. He says, Prokteda Bhakti Yogena Bhajato Masakran Munehe Kama Hrudaya Nashyanti Sarve Mayi Hrudi Sthite. Bhajato Masakran Munchihi. When an intelligent person constantly engages in worshipping the Lord, Proktena Bhakti Yogena, as described by the Lord, Proktena, in the devotional service, Bhakti Yogena, Sarve Mayi Hrudi Sthitehe, his heart becomes fixed in me. The Lord is saying, when he engages in devotional service as prescribed by me, his heart becomes fixed in me. Sarve Mayi Hrudi Sthitehe. Thus, Kama Hrudaya Nashyanti, all the material desires within heart are destroyed. Because these devotees follow my instructions and they practice what I say, they are able to cleanse all the unwanted things from their heart because of my instructions and by sincere practice. And Bidyate Hrudaya Grandhis Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha Kliyanti Chashya Karmani Mayi Drushta Akilatmani. And when that heart is cleansed off, the next stage what happens? Bidyate Hrudaya Grandhi. All the unwanted associations which are like tight knots will be cut to pieces. Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha. All doubts are cleared. Sarva Samshayaha Chidyante. They are all cut. Kliyanti Chasya Karmani. And the chain of fruitive reactions is terminated. Kliyanti Cha Asya Karmani. All the previous karma, fruitive activities has been cut. Then, Mayi Drishta Akilatmani, and when I am seen as a Supreme Lord in their heart, when the heart is cleansed, see, the Supreme Lord is there, but layers of dust has been accumulated over this heart from many, many lifetimes. See, in the association as practice of Bhakti Yoga, the devotees will be able to cleanse out all the unwanted things, then we will be able to see Paramatma, and as soon as we see the Paramatma in the heart, all the unwanted things are cleansed off, all the unwanted knots are removed, all the attachment to this material world are gone, old fruitive karmas have been burnt away. So this is what actually happens. So when they are able to realize the Supreme Lord in person, so they become the representatives of the Supreme Lord in this material world. So that's why when the Brahmanas are fed, when the representative is fed, then it is like the queen is or the king is also fed. Like Viceroy, earlier there is a system in India. Viceroy means the representative of the queen here. So Viceroy is treated properly, it is like the queen is treated properly. So devotees are so special. In their life, they perform various activities to teach us how everybody have to lead their life. So there was one devotee in the Alwar Sampradaya by name Tirumaleshai Alwar. So in his life, certain aspects were there, so which are practically for a devotees in a realistic perspective, which are very applicable. So this is as per Brahmanda Purana. See, most of the Alwars, they took birth to the fag end of Dwapar Yuga. So their timeline is very big. From Dwapar Yuga to almost like 2000, 3000 years, they all existed. A huge lifespan. So great rishis by Atri, Bhrigu, Vashishta, Bhargava and Angiraha, one day they all went to Brahmaloka, requested for Lord Brahma to a place where they can engage in meditation peacefully. So Lord Brahma went into trance and he understood one important place. It is called as Mahisara Kshetra. And he suggested to them, this is the best place for your meditation. Because the great rishis had earlier done tapasya there in that place. That place became sanctified. So then hearing this, all the rishis came to that part of the earth. Everybody occupied different directions. And they established their hermitages there. And they started practicing tapasya. So over a period of time, Bhargava Rishi, he got married with the intention of creating a progeny. He underwent severe tapasya, he and his wife. After severe tapasya followed for few years, wife became pregnant. At an auspicious moment, she delivered, but it was a lump of flesh with no shape, nothing. It's a lump of flesh. Then the Bhargava Rishi was thinking, what is this? A lump of flesh has come. He thought this is some inauspicious thing or something. We should get rid of before people could get to know that something bad had happened. So he immediately removed that lump of flesh and carried to a forest, and there was a bamboo thicket there. He left the lump of flesh to be there at the root and he went away back. Over a period of time, by the mercy of the Lord, that lump of flesh started developing shape. It became like a baby boy. And he came to external consciousness and he started crying. Now, as soon as he started crying, then he heard a voice, my dear boy, do not cry, I am there for you. That boy opened his eyes and he saw the Supreme Lord standing in front of him. And Supreme Lord touched him and that boy stopped crying. As soon as he saw the Lord and he was touched by the Lord, so that he does not feel hungry by the touch of the Lord. And in a moment, Lord vanished from that there. And the next moment again the baby started crying, but this time not because of hunger, but because of absence of the Lord. He is representation of Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord. So over a period of when he started crying in the nearby forest, there were woodcutters. They started hearing some faint sound somewhere. Initially they thought it was some wolf crying, but on keen observation they thought it was a baby boy somewhere, some child is crying. And they all started moving in the direction where that sound is coming from. So when they came, they found at that bamboo thicket this small boy, and they were wondering, from where come this boy has come here? That boy is so effulgent, so so bright and so chubby and all these things and all. He has been thinking of having a child for a long time. He has been longing for a child, that woodcutter head person. So his name was Thiruvallan, and he was thinking, now my wife will be very much happy. Her name was Pankaja Selvi, because they were lacking of children, and he was thinking this will be a gift from the Supreme Lord. So he took that baby boy, went home. So the wife was also very happy, even though they were little elderly. The wife was little elderly in nature. As soon as she picked up the baby boy in her hand, out of motherly affection, the milk started flowing out of her, even though she was not the mother of that baby. But that boy was not drinking the milk. He was not at all touching anything of this material world. But day by day the boy was becoming bright and strong, and he was growing very healthy. And the message spread everywhere that this woodcutter family, they had a baby boy who does not eat anything, but he grows very nicely. Then one old family, little elderly family, who have been aspiring to have a child from a lower community. So one day when they heard, they thought, let us go and meet this boy. They came there. The woodcutter family invited them, they went inside, the baby was given into their hand and they started praying. It is our good fortune that we are able to meet you. We heard that you are not accepting anything, but we have one small request. We brought you a small milk. Please accept this and bless us. By their sincerity, the baby boy responded. He took their milk and he started drinking. From that day, this elderly family, every day they used to bring milk and offer to that baby and the baby used to drink. One day, the baby boy, after drinking half of the milk, he started talking. Your desire to have a son will be fulfilled. The left of the milk, whatever was remnants, you both of you drink and you will have a baby boy. The family was very happy. They took that milk, they went back home, they purified themselves and accepted that prasadam of the milk, and very soon, they were even elderly family, their body became like a regenerated like an young people. And very soon the wife became conceived and they had a baby boy. And they named him Kanikannan. So in the meantime, 7 years passed. This boy became little elder. So he went to mountain areas to understand about the absolute truth, in search of the absolute truth. Everywhere he was going around. He studied various philosophies like Ashtanga Yoga, then Buddhism, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Patanjali, Shaivism, Mayavada, Nyaya, Purva Mimamsa, whatever is there, everything he started studying, but he was never satisfied because he could not come to the proper conclusion of the absolute truth. So while these circumstances going on, one day he met Pei Alwar and there was discussion between Pei Alwar and this boy, and he was soundly defeated by Pei Alwar on the establishment of the Supreme Lord. So then he became the disciple of Pei Alwar and he studied under him Vedas and Vedanta Sutra and came to the conclusion Lord Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He became equipped with the knowledge. So 700 years of his lifetime he committed in this way, studying under Pei Alwar. So after that, after finishing his studies, then he decided, let me go to a sanctified place and do meditation on the Supreme Lord. Now I understood the Supreme Lord, let me now meditate on the Supreme Lord. So he meditated for again 700 years for the Supreme Lord. It is a place known as Gajendra Kunda at Kairavani. It is Trivallikeni near Madras. That place he did meditation for 700 years. So while he was staying at Kairavani, he was in an Avaduta state, extremely renounced. He used to wear one old cloth which were discarded here and there. And whenever that cloth becomes torn, he used to stitch it. At one particular point, if it is completely unwearable, only then he will start looking for a new cloth. He will try to wear that old cloth itself. So that was his extreme renunciation. Because he was thinking if he starts looking for modern and new things, his time is wasted into the spiritual rather than spiritual perspective than to show off to the world. So when he was here, at the Kairavani, Lord Shiva wanted to test him. One day Lord Shiva and Parvati were travelling on the bull carrier. So wherever they go, everybody were aspiring for their mercy, because if their blessings are, if the vision of Durga and Parvati falls upon them, they will get material appliances. Everybody were hankering for their blessings. So even people were thinking, at least the shadow fall upon me while they are travelling, then we will be blessed. So while they came to the area where this Rishi was doing tapasya, they saw this person stitching some old cloth. Then Parvati Devi said, you should help him. See how he is struggling. He is stitching some old cloth, you should go and help him. Lord Shiva said, he is a Vaishnava, he is not bothered for all these things. No. How you can do that? You are also Vaishnava, you should help him. Lord Shiva said, no, they will not accept anything from others. They are in a renounced stage. Now Parvati Devi said, no, you should do something. So in the meantime, Tirumalai Alwar could understand that shadow when it was falling next to him. He moved away from the shadow because he thought, Why I want this material sense gratification? I don't want blessings in this material world. He went away a little further distance. Now Parvati Devi became offended. He is trying to even avoid us. No, we should give him something. Unless we give him something, I will not go away from here. Now, wife demands, husband has to follow, what to do? No other option. Lord Shiva came to him and he said, my dear sir, please give a glance upon me. Tirumalai Alwar, he is busy in his teaching. He did not even bother who has come to me. He was teaching. Then Lord Shiva said, I am Lord Shiva, I am come here, I am very much satisfied by your tapasya. I want to give you benediction. He said, I don't want, go away. No, I have come here, I have to give you something. So after reiteration of 2-3 times, Tirumalai Alwar said, okay, do one thing, give me liberation. He said, that I can't do, only Lord Krishna can do, or Lord Vishnu can do, I cannot give liberation. Then Tirumalai Alwar said, no, then what is the use, you go away. Then Lord Shiva said, can you request one more benediction, something else? Then Tirumalai said, can you postpone the life of a dead man for one more day? Then Lord Shiva said, no, that I cannot do. Law of karma is there. He has to face as per his karma, I cannot change. Then what are you good for? You are good for nothing. You can't do anything. Then Tirumalai Alwar he was becoming so much disturbed. See, you are coming and trying to disturb me. Then Lord Shiva said, I am determined to give you some favor. I have only one request. Then Lord Shiva said, I am eagerly waiting. What you want that one request? So Tirumalai Alwar said, see, this needle, what I am trying to thread, that thread is coming off from that eye. Please do one thing. Put it, like you put that thread into that needle and help me, because always it is coming out, I am not able to put that thread into the needle's hole. Then now Parvati Devi became very offended. Hare, he is the greatest person, you are asking him to thread a needle? And she came and said, see, he is like disrespecting you. You should do something. You should treat him. You should punish him. Then Lord Shiva understood, yes, he is disrespecting me. I should punish him. So immediately he opened his third eye. He wanted to do bhasma of, he thought, like earlier I had opened my third eye and kama personified, lust personified. I had put him to ashes. Now I will put you to ashes. He opened his third eye. But he did not know Sudarshan Chakra is that fire with whom everything is there. So Tirumalai Alwar had a third eye in his feet, in his that first finger. So without knowing, when he started opening his third eye, before that itself Tirumalai Alwar pointed his first finger in the leg towards Lord Shiva, which became a much higher fire. Then Lord Shiva was burning in fire. He invoked some special Samvartaka like clouds to put him down, because so much fire was there and he was getting burnt and nothing is happening to that Alwar. So after some time, when the fires was extinguished, all these things and all, then he requested, my dear sir, now we understand, you are a great personality, I cannot give you any benediction, thank you very much, and he went away. Now he started scolding Parvati Devi. Now you understand, not to mess with Vaishnavas, they are great people. If you try to mess with them, we will lose our own spiritual perspectives. We should never disrespect Vaishnavas. So like that, when he went away, then again after some time again, one Maya Tantrivi, and he was going through, a magician was going through that area. He also saw this man was creating some old rugs he's stitching. He thought, I have been giving favors everywhere, let me go and give him also a favor. He came there and he stood there and he wanted to give him a better cloth. He said, see, why are you holding on to this old cloth? I'll give you something better. By his magic, he created one good fine cloth. So then, Tirumalai Alwar, without even nodding, which is like this, he did one better cloth than what he had created has come to him. So then that ghost was thinking, I am tampering around with a great personality, I think better I should not hamper him. So he immediately paid obeisances and requested him to be forgiven, and he went away. Then one more person came there. So then before that, Lord Shiva, when he was going, he gave him the title Bhakta Sara. Bhakti Sara. You are the essence of devotion. From today you will be known by that name, Bhakti Sara. Then one more similar incident came. One more tantric magician, Kokitana Siddhan, came to see Tirumala Alwar. He heard of the reputation and wished to test him. He is a great scientist. So he said, I'll give you something by which you can turn anything into gold. And you can have so much money. You are struggling so hard in this forest with no money, all these things and all. With old clothes, all these things and all. So he wanted to give him something. So then Tirumala Alwar, he removed some, dust from his ear, rolled it onto his body and made it like a small piece and gave him, and he said, go. You want to give me something by which I can make gold? You take this and you do something. So this person took that because he wanted to see what is that. He took that and he went home. And next day when he got up and he tried to test that small things what removed from his ear was so much that one big iron rod became first class gold by the touch of that small piece. Then he also understood, no, we cannot tamper around with these great devotees. He came back, paid obeisances and requested forgiveness. See, Vaishnavas are such a way that they are equipped with all great capabilities. But the only thing is they do not want to display. They want to serve the Lord. That was their whole and sole intention. But whenever there is an opportunity to establish the glories of the Supreme Lord, they are ready for that opportunity. But for personal things, they are not even bothered for their maintenance. So such are the devotees, what Krishna is saying, who are very great personalities through whom I represent myself in this material world. So the Brahmanas represent the Supreme Lord in this material world. That's why when you feed the Brahmanas, it is like we are feeding the Supreme Lord. So that is the point what Lord has communicated. Further verses will clarify more. I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu treats, so from we get to know that his dealings with Ramananda Raya are like keeping him in more elevated position than Rupa Goswamis or other people. He's being a Kshatriya, Ramananda Raya, still he keeps him in very high esteem, Prabhu. And Brahmanas like Rupa Goswamis, they are even more than Brahmanas. Still that much respect and that much honor is not given to them. That much he gave to Ramananda Raya.
See, one thing you have to understand, in Kali Yuga, by birthright we are all treating his Brahmana, his Mlecha, all these things and all is your consideration. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking the spiritual cultivation. See, you please understand who is Ramananda Raya. What is his position? He is Lalita or Vishaka. And the Goswamis are Manjaris. Manjaris are assistants to Lalita Vishaka. Now, who is priority to Krishna?
Lalita.
Correct? So, he was maintaining that etiquette. See, discrimination was never there. As to the revelation of their knowledge or their realization, Lord reciprocates. Ramananda Raya is the highest category. Where he was teaching the Lord about the tattva. So, Lord always respects the devotees. Accordingly, he respects. So, different personalities, different things he taught through various personalities. That actually was subject was there. That for the next class I had kept. That question you have put now. No, next time we will see more. See, that's why it is said, those who are all devotees of the Lord, who have given their commitment, the two qualifications in today's verse. Nija karma pakaihi tushtasya mai avahitaihi. Only those people who are completely dedicated their life for the service of the Lord and who are satisfied with the Lord's prasāda, they are given that glorification. That's why when we read, who are the Brahmanas? Who are carrying the Vedic knowledge into this material world, and who practice austerity and tapasya, and who have done all the sense control, regulative purposes, and who are completely their mind focused upon the Supreme Lord, they are considered as the best personalities. So it depends upon situation. See, Bhagavad Gita we all understand, but how many of we all read? How many of us actually understood Bhagavad Gita? Sometimes our old learning becomes an obstacle in understanding things clearly. So, like if you are very much addicted to Mayavada philosophy, when you try to hear bhakti, will you able to relish? Why? Old knowledge is obstructing us to understand the higher things. So that's the point what I am trying to say. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर